Hi everybody, welcome you back to the third part of Module 19, Professional Development with the New Textbook. In the second part, we talked about the British Council's Continuing Professional Development Framework and the Vietnam's English Teacher Competency Framework as the basis for teachers to self-assess to find out which competencies they need to develop. In today's lesson, we will talk about some specific PD activities that teachers should do to improve their ability and confidence in their weaker competencies and domains. Now, let's look at fourth book, The Developing Teacher, in which he suggests different activities at 5 circles of professional development. Some activities are at higher levels than others, so teachers can choose the ones which are suitable for their levels of knowledge and skills. Moreover, they can do these practical activities individually or collaboratively. Now, the first circle, the inner circle, involves you, the teacher, working alone. There are some individual activities you can do: reading about new teaching ideas, reflecting on a class you have taught, writing a journal, keeping a portfolio, etc. How often do you reflect on your lessons? Oh, good! You should do it regularly because it helps you see what works and what doesn't work in your classroom. Then, you will have to find out the solutions to the problems. For example, how can you keep the students motivated and involved in the whole lesson? The second circle is you and your students. Development in this circle would include giving feedback to the student and getting feedback from students about learning and teaching, trying to understand students' needs, trying out new techniques of teaching, such as using stories, songs, and chants to introduce and practice vocabulary and structures. Or you may try to teach something new, such as teaching the students how to do the project work or learn the culture of the peoples in the lessons. The third circle is you and your colleagues. Professional development activities here might include peer observation, team teaching, and staff room support. Teachers work in groups, meet regularly, share lesson plans, observe each other's classes, give feedbacks and ideas of teaching and managing classes. Mentoring can also be done here. The more knowledgeable teacher helps a new or less experienced teacher and gives feedback on his teaching and learning. The fourth circle, you and your school, includes teachers meeting, carrying out projects, and interaction with management and other members of staff. The fifth circle is you and your profession. Examples would be being a member of an online teachers group, attending courses provided in the region to develop their teaching knowledge and skills, completing an online or offline course to get a certificate, attending and presenting at conferences, writing for publication, doing action research, etc. Watch this video extract about career development tips for teacher. Take notes of the answers to the following questions. What do you do to develop as a professional teacher? Are they in the list of the 5 circles we have talked? What are the best pieces of career advice that the teachers were given? What about your own ideas? What is the third question? Can you write it down and find the answers?
Welcome to IATEFL 2016 here in Birmingham. This year, Macmillan Education are focusing on career development. So we've come here to IATEFL to interview teachers to see what advice they'd like to share. What do you do to develop professionally as a teacher?
Well, I come to IATEFL. This is my first year at IATEFL. Keeping up to date with journals and reading, and mainly talking to other teachers, other teacher trainers.
Question your own practice, try to change your own practice, and take part in as many collaborative activities as you can.
I usually read a lot, I try to find out more material, I try to attend to workshops, for example, or something like this.
Reflection's the main thing. I like talking about teaching, I like thinking about teaching, I write a lot about teaching just for myself, and also I like talking to colleagues about stuff, and also my students, I ask them a lot about how our lessons are going and things like that. Yeah.
Of course, attending seminars, conferences like the IATEFL, and presenting myself as well, because you have to do some research.
What's the best piece of career advice you've been given as a teacher?
Teach the students, not the lesson plan.
Don't worry about what other people think about your job. If you enjoy it and you love it, keep going with it.
As a teacher, the best piece of career advice was put yourself in their shoes. And it was that simple. And after that, everything flowed from being a boring classroom to something more interactive and entertaining.
Probably be passionate about what you do, because if you're passionate, your learners will become passionate about learning.
Get involved in a professional teaching organisation. I ended up taking a leadership role in one of them, and it was the most professionally rewarding thing I've ever done.
I think the advice is that you should be a lifelong learner, and I'm trying to follow that. So I'm teaching English and have been teaching for a number of years, but each and every day I learn a little bit of more English and I enjoy doing it.
That was the first piece of advice, to be always on time, to start and finish on time.
Do you currently use One Stop English or any other Macmillan education resources as a teacher?
Yeah, I do use One Stop English. I've been using the Live from London interviews, and that was really useful for my students. They really liked the natural English in there and were surprised at how chaotic people talk, and it was really good.
Absolutely, yes. One Stop English is something I use with a lot of the writing stuff. And then Macmillan resources are common in my workplace, from published materials to the apps as well. And, yeah.
Yes, of course. When I try to practice or send some homework to my students, I use Macmillan resources from internet.
As a teacher trainer, I use the Teacher Development Series, the books from Carol Reed and Adrian Underhill, and as a teacher, the CLIL, One Stop CLIL site.
I do use One Stop English. I read quite a lot of the articles. I think Adrian Tennant writes a lot of your stuff. Yeah, he's very good. I used quite a lot of it on my Delta. And I also use the Adrian Underhill little clips that you have.
Pronunciation.
The pronunciation thing, yeah, great.
Here are some suggested answers. Question number 1. You can hear most of the professional development activities we have discussed, such as going to the conferences, writing journals, meeting other teachers and talking with trainers about your own training, reading, attending workshops, seminars, etc. Question 2. Here are some advice. Put yourself in their shoes. Be passionate about learning. You should be a lifelong learner. Always on time to start and finish on time. Question number 3. Do you currently use One Stop English or any other Macmillan education resources as a teacher? Most of the teachers say yes. What about you? In this video, we have discussed some common activities teachers can adopt for their professional development. Can you add some to the list? Which ones do you often do most? Which ones haven't you done? Try doing them after this lesson. That's all for this module. Hope you enjoy the lesson. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.